We're live. Okay, so we're on. I'm doing the double today where I'm doing both the show on Freedomizer along with this one. How are you guys doing? I know, just I'm still cracking up from a lot of the comments in the inbox right now. It's okay though. It's okay. So let me wait for some of you to jump on. Trying to record this one, I don't know. Sometimes I think I set it on the do not disturb and text will come in and then it'll stop and it's okay. Whatever, at this point, we're just gonna do this because I don't know how many lives I got left. Literally, with social media, you kind of feel like that cat with 9 lives lately with all the censoring. So they were starting to warn us in February of this year. You started seeing all of the warnings up already, right? Facebook is getting pressured to crack down on all of these groups. You had a lot of articles like that, and we were just like, that's crazy. That's just crazy, you know? Why would they do that? Why would they censor free speech? Why would they silence mothers and who want to share stories of their children who went through injury? Why are they doing this? And you thought that they wouldn't. And then you had Congressman Schiff, the piece of Schiff in California, who even wrote a letter to Zuckerberg that we all saw, where he was demanding that this movement is silenced because it is dangerous. These thoughts and ideas are dangerous. And earlier in the year, we were labeled as, one of 2019's global health threats. So parents who question the safety of something that is mandated and being forced onto them and their kids is apparently as scary as Ebola. So we were labeled there. And then, the infamous March 13 day happened. And now we're getting the warnings of Instagram, which is also the same. Facebook and Instagram are pretty much the same company. So we kind of knew this. We saw it coming. For those that are like, where can we find you? Where can we find you? I got to say this, okay? I got to say this. And please do not take offense. Don't take offense. I got all my stuff planned already. Like, I'm good, okay? So if all of this goes down, I may or may not want to be jumping back on and putting myself out there because right now it's just about waking up as many more as I can and then being like, okay, bye. Like, I'll tell you, my husband kind of loves the few times of the year that I am on Facebook jail because when I get jailed for obvious, just whatever, posts that they deem, not okay by Facebook fact check. So when I get the jail sentence, Jeff is always just like, oh, yay. So we're going to have way more home-cooked meals, the house is going to be cleaner. So for our family, that is a good thing, But yes, I'll likely still try to every now and then post something to YouTube but I will keep that private, just so that doesn't get taken down too, because YouTube is already big time censoring. It's just that I'm not using YouTube as a platform to make money or get sponsors and, so it's okay to keep it private and just speak to like the handful that actually care. So, morning, Monica, how's it going? So wait, Drea is saying CNN released an article stating how his own family members are against him. Oh, with the Kennedys? Yeah, and Robert Kennedy has really done wonders already for this movement. He has dedicated, I personally think he's dedicated way too much of his life where he could just, he's a Kennedy. He doesn't need to do anything. He could literally just like sit there and not do anything. These Kennedys, they have that reputation for touching in on poking at the bear. They're always poking at the bear, and you're just like, oh, when are they going to get him? When are they going to get him? I hope they don't get him. I hope they don't get him. He's done so much for this movement already that, if he were to back down or step down at this point, everybody would understand. If you're not following him, you should be. And he runs the Children's Health Defense.org, which is an amazing nonprofit that this guy just spends his life doing this. And he's married to some actress too. So you do wonder, like, he goes to a lot of these celebrity events, and his wife is, I guess, somewhat popular, you know, and she's kind of mainstream. Isn't she on several shows? She's a bit of a comedian too. So you do have to wonder, like, are the celebrities pretty woke to this as well? Because, you know, they've got to be. They've just got to be. So speaking, though, of who is not woke at all, I realize that I might have just, like, you know, I do that sometimes. Okay, the Buzzfeed thing, let's talk about the Buzzfeed thing. So I'm here at least 2 times a day. Okay, right now my schedule, because I stopped with the 3 pumps a day, I'm doing 2 pumping sessions because I'm still getting so much milk. Like, each pumping session is still 25, sometimes 30 ounces. So I'm like, I don't need to do the midday one, you know. That's why I'm also starting to wear my plaid shirts again. Okay, I have like 50 of these type of shirts. They're the most comfy shirts, okay? This is literally what I wore 24/7, just this and jeans. And I can't wear these because when my milk starts filling up, the buttons don't hold, okay? I've had a few instances you guys have seen where on the days where I just forgot and just, you know, the buttons thing. So now that I've gone down to the 2, these are back in my life again. And my point being, I'm pumping typically around 7 a.m., you know, when I'm getting ready, just laughing, reading through the comments going on. This is like after the kids leave for the school, you know, and for the indoctrination center. This is after I'm like, okay, go ahead. Don't get brainwashed, please. They're like, okay, Mom, we won't. So that's my morning time when I do that, okay? For like 25 minutes, I'm on this pump. Then I do that like a little bit after dinner. So my point, going back to last night, somebody sent me, OMG, look at this Buzzfeed thing. And I typically don't care or even step into that Buzzfeed realm, okay? Because it's a dangerous, scary place to walk into because it's literally like zombie land, crazy town. These are people who are fresh out of the system. Okay, these are the fresh zombies. They're like the hungry for, like, they just got a taste of the human blood zombies. They're not the ones that are already like, is this my life? All I do is eat human brain. That's it. They're like excited still. Okay, they're like the first in line excited. So I'm on here whenever I go on those pages and I kind of troll a bit. Just understand that I'm on here on a machine that's pulling my nipples out this far, and so like literally nothing bothers me on these things. I'll just dump a few things. Now, when it comes to the Buzzfeed, why it's important to hit that up, and people are like, oh my gosh, why would you even waste your time? Well, here's why I'm going to waste my time every now and then, because about 50% of millennials read Buzzfeed. This is where they go to for their news. Buzzfeed actually has a health section. They have a Buzzfeed Health, which, like, how do you even take that seriously? And you look through it and you're just like laughing. Buzzfeed Health yesterday tried to shame the mom, Taylor, the mom in Florida who has her son that she didn't want him to go through the next round of chemo. They just wanted a second opinion because their son was already cancer-free. That mom, okay, her name is Taylor Bland. You should look her up. You should follow her. Her son, Noah, the FloridaFreedomAlliance.org is covering that story because the parents were arrested for medically kidnapping their own son because they wanted a second opinion. That's like where we're at today. So the same people that are on BuzzFeed, that rely on BuzzFeed for news, would be the same people that would be that are cheering for this mother to lose custody of her boy simply because she wants to look at alternatives. Chemotherapy has never been proven safe or even effective. It's never been a 100% type of thing. So why is that the mandated option? And many parents realized with stories like Noah's that it's going to take, that in the instance of something like that ever happening, we don't realize that until our kids are 18 years old, if they do not do what the pediatrician oncologist is recommending, you're in trouble as a parent. They have to stay on the recommended schedule by that pediatrician, especially after they get the diagnosis of cancer, even if he's already cancer-free. So BuzzFeed is all kinds of garbage for their health version. They did a story on it, also shaming this mother. And then you read the comments and you're just like, dude, so like I jump on there and of course, like what is there to say when people are like, what would you say? What would you say? Because here's what. Hold on. What would you say? What would you say? Okay, for starters, who's going to BuzzFeed for their health? Okay? Because the people that rely on BuzzFeed for their health advice literally think that eating a couple pieces of avocado toast and having water every now and then is healthy. Like that's health for them. That's like their health. And like sometimes enrolling and doing a little bit of yoga. Like this is a joke to begin with if you are relying on this site for your health. So what is there to say? What is there to say at that point? But if you look at the statistics, there's about 200 million hits per month towards these sites, whether it's their health section, whether it's that or whether it's their news. It's not even news. But so you're around, if you're talking about millennials, there's at least 80 million people in this country that fit into that millennial realm. And BuzzFeed is hitting up like all the other countries too. I'm just talking about America, okay? So those were stats as of 2015, meaning it's grown, it's grown. And at least half of these millennials do read BuzzFeed or they follow them, whether it's to like laugh at a funny meme or, they follow this stuff. But consider the audience. Consider the audience. Why was it even worth my time? Well, I'll tell you why. Because when I jump on there, sites like BuzzFeed and all of these public forums, they have damage control, okay? They have people that work 24/7 that literally are in these offices and in these spaces, Silicon Valley, wherever, that their only job is to do quality control checks on what is being posted, the comments that are pouring in. So you have these, we call them bots, but they are real human beings, possibly just using the same username over and over. So there, if you notice, there is like one or two people on that same post that are just making sure they're doing damage control, because they also understand that if you jump on there and drop a bomb of a comment, you can screenshot the fact that you left that comment, and if BuzzFeed deletes your comment, well then, the irony in that they will be deleting stuff really soon because that was the entire post to begin with. The post is on censorship, okay? So people are like, what post? What was this? This post was on censorship. It was on that Instagram is going to be working with AI and with Facebook and all that, and they are going to be censoring all of the fake news, whatever the bot deems as fake news, which I really think a lot of people in this movement are just creative enough to where that's gonna backfire on them really badly, because there's ways to still ask questions that make it seem like you're maybe on their side. So you'll understand soon enough how to do that. But there are a bunch of shills, okay? What they're saying here, this was their caption, BuzzFeed News. The company plans to police anti-vax misinformation by flagging it with pop-ups similar to those it uses for self-harm content. It's not clear yet what the pop-up will say or what outside resources it might point to. The feature is still in development, and Instagram's safety team was not able to share a launch date. Meaning, it's gonna happen. It's like already in the works, okay? So the absolute irony in that questioning this and making posts that question this is self-harm. And how many people, I mean, I did a quick post. I was just in the car one of the days, Jeff was driving, and I posted on how I carry peppermint around with me because I rub it here on my temples to get rid of any kind of headaches. And I had a few people who sent me screenshots. They're like, oh my gosh, right after your stories, I had an ad for like Excedrin. Like headache medicine actually was coming up on my feed. And I'm like, yeah, it's already happening. So when people are like, how are they going to do that? You guys see the ads popping up left and right anyway, right? They're getting these young kid influencers to like, you have these mom bloggers that are with their 100,000, 200,000 followers that are just like, hey guys, so I just realized that I am not immune to rubella. And rubella is kind of dangerous. So, I mean, I went and I got my MMR so that I'm now protected against rubella. You know, and you're just like, no, what are you doing? Why would you just play yourself? You started off saying that you were already had the antibodies to things like measles and the mumps. Like, why did you go and get all of that over? Like you know that they likely didn't. It's just that they were paid or sponsored by freaking Merck or Gardasil or any of these companies to GlaxoSmithKline to do a post like this because they have social media. So if you can't see past that, or if you're just this young kid that reads Buzzfeed and follows it for your kind of news, that's where it's dangerous. And the reason that I jump on every now and then is not for those bots. It's not to have back and forths with these, you know, these people that are working for BuzzFeed or, you know, like totally have their minds made up already on the one topic. That's not who you're ever trying to talk to. But I did wake up today to over a dozen messages from other people who apparently read that post that just wanted more information. That's who you're talking to. So I'm probably on there right now. I haven't checked, but but I woke up to like crazy notifications and I was just like laughing because I'm probably on there being called every name under the sun. I don't care. I'm from generation AOL dial-up, where, you know, like you go home from school, your mom and dad are still not home yet. This is when kids were allowed to be left home. And I'd have to like get on my parents' computer, do the like dial-up connection, jump on AOL with my AOL screen name, like in 7th grade. Oh my gosh, you guys. What were your AOL screen names? Okay. So embarrassing. How many friends of yours were like Little Peaches? Okay, like how many of your friends? I was not Little Peaches. I was even worse than that. I was obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio. My name, because I thought it was brilliant, was Tulsi Tannic. So I'm jumping on these AOL chat rooms under Tulsi Tannic, okay? And that's when I realized at that age in life, I was 11 or 12, already realizing that people become 1,000 times braver when they're behind a keyboard. And it gave me practice. It was like we would talk about nothing. That is when you used to have to go into these chat rooms and everyone is going ASL, which means age, sex, location. So you'd be like 12, F, San Diego. You know, that's from that age. People are not having to do that anymore. They got all the other, so they don't even understand. They will never comprehend and understand what we had to go through, okay, to learn these amazing techniques. They will never know, and that's okay. So they are. I jump on there and I was literally just like, I was like, I'll just throw 3 things on here, whatever, and it's great because I did have some people that came on. Hopefully they're not watching this live because I give that warning off in the beginning. But they come on and I sent inserts first. So it was like, before, I accept this, can you please at least go to this website, check out learntherisk.org, read some of these stories, and please read at least a couple of these inserts, Okay, yeah, I read them, and then now they are following, okay? And it's not to gain followers. This is literally just to get them onto another perspective, because the other people in this movement have their minds made up, okay? You're not talking to those people. Your audience is the many who are still undecided or just don't know enough yet to make a decision. And please believe, I know that reading through those comments is so discouraging, okay? But please believe and understand that there are so many people out there that really just don't know enough to make a decision yet. And I get a lot of messages in my inbox, which I don't feel comfortable ever answering. So this is literally me all day long. If I check my messages, and it's always parents that are saying, I have an appointment coming up, their 2 month is coming up, I don't know enough, or their 4 month is going on, I don't know what to do, I feel so, I'm literally like, hi, this is like, I wish I could just save this and just direct them to this all the time, because right now I'm not even texting for these people that I've never had a back and forth with. They misinterpret everything I'm trying to say. It's easy to misinterpret me, and it's easy to misinterpret tone for text, so I'm literally like this. Hi, so I do the record button, right? Or the microphone thing. Hi, so I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. I have over 5 hours worth of content on my feed that you are welcome to look into. And after watching all of that, you will likely understand what side I'm on and what my response would be, what I would do for my family. But just understand that your visit can be postponed. You can always delay a visit. You don't have to go to the visit. And I'm going to end it with this. You can always vaccinate your children. Always. You can be anti-vax for 20 years and you still have that right and option to vaccinate your children. You can never unvaccinate your children. Have a great day, and then done. And that's pretty much what most of my messages sound like, because I'm not trying to get myself in trouble and tell parents, don't do it. But you could only need to listen to me for not even 20 minutes to be like, I wonder what she would do. That should be obvious. Don't ask me what I think about, if I'm telling you already that I believe 100% in my heart, because it is listed and documented that these things are poison in a syringe, that if the needle doesn't kill you, it will keep you dependent on it for the rest of your life and dependent on pharma. What do you think I'm going to say to somebody who's like, well, then should we at least space them out? Space out poison, go for it. There's no nice way. There's just no nice way. So you get a lot of these same responses from these trolls. And I just, at this point, I read them because you have these people like, oh my God, prove to me. I don't have to prove anything to you, PS, okay? We don't have to prove anything to anyone else. You owe it to yourself to prove your own theories, right? You prove to me that this is safe, because I'm already showing you a link where your Health and Human Services for this country already was sued and admitted to not having one safety study in 32 years. So you now prove to me that it's safe. What is this? I'm not going to waste my time. But here's an argument that they love to use. They say, you're sourcing the CDC. You're sourcing the CDC, the FDA. It's the same sites that also say that they're safe and effective. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. We're pointing out the hypocrisy. Hello? Yes, of course I'm sourcing the same site, because it's the same site you trust. It's the site that you're looking at and trusting. So I'm just finding other things in that same site that are very contradictory to what you believe. What don't you get? But once again, it is the mythology and the religion bowing down to the white coats, right? It's a religion, because look at how crazy they act. And then you get people that are literally going there, I am a pharmacist. I'm a pharmacist, so you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. We know what pharmacists learn. We know you go through 4 pages out of tens of thousands, and only 4 pages have anything on vaccines, and it's mostly on how to administer. We know that in all of medical school journals, even through Harvard Med, they've only shown 4 pages worth of vaccine study. 11 pages on how to memorize and go by the CDC schedule, and then your payout plan. Then you get people that'll actually have the nerve to say, doctors don't profit from vaccines. Them, you cannot even, don't waste your time diving in with those people. Like, you literally only need to see a medical bill. Like, you just need to see a bill. A bill. They're not giving that, like, I can't with those people. And then you get the ones that are also just like, I hope you never have kids. I hope you never have kids. Like, and then you're just like, well, you know, when I'm not injecting ingredients that cause infertility, I'm gonna be able to have babies. So that's I don't know what you're gonna do with that hope of yours, but unless I go with what you're doing, which is injecting Polysorbate 80 into my system from birth, then you know, I think my chances are okay. Like, they're sold, you guys, on the HPV especially, this young generation. Why? You literally have people, I know I posted up that meme, and it was funny because I just found it really hilarious. Who sent me that? Was it Treya who sent me that meme? The Kermit one. Was it you? Where, you know, he's just, I love this Kermit thing though, but it literally said BITCHs out there done slept with the whole neighborhood but are worried about catching the measles. Like, how common are STDs in this country? And how I know people, I won't even point out this person's name, but there is a person who I used to work with over a decade ago that literally loved giving rim jobs. Okay? And literally, like, we were all in the office and he's sharing these stories about how he loves doing that, loves receiving them. RIM jobs, okay? You don't know what that is? Look it up. And literally, we're all sitting there going, like, ready to barf, okay? This person, I don't know why they're still my friend on Facebook. I mean, I know why. They're for the drama, right? Pro-science, pro-vaccines, afraid of the measles. And you're just like, you and every girl you've, like, first, what do you do with that? How do you even respond to people like that? Like, I'm not gonna now, and it's tempting, but every time this person jumps on a post of mine to just be like, well, what about this? And wants to post up some you know, CNN BS article, I literally am this close. So if you're listening to this live or you listen to any of these after the fact, I am this close to pointing out that you do all of that stuff and you love to do all of that stuff, okay? This close, because I am confused. You literally have had multiple STDs in your life and you're afraid of the measles. Okay, and then the women that I know, like, I know some girls that just are so promiscuous that it's like not even, like, free everything, like free life. Women should have the right to do whatever they want, sleep with whoever they want, blah, 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 fine. No judging here. But you might want to detox your vagina. I don't know. I'm not going to judge you though. But I think that you're overdue down there for a detox. For sure. But you're afraid of the measles. Okay. So, so this is the generation, right, that we're dealing with, that you're talking to. This is the people. And you know, their insults are just to say, oh, oil enthusiasts who read blogs. Like, I'm literally called that. I'm like, okay, I like oils. I'm not an oil enthusiast, whatever. But, you know, one person even commented, what makes something poison is the dose, not the ingredient. And I was just like, what? Oh my gosh, hold on. What makes something poisonous is the dose of it, not the ingredient. Okay. How much bee venom does it take to cause anaphylaxis? Like, this trace amounts argument really just kills me every single time. So this troll war is just that, right? Just who's going to troll harder? Who will troll harder? Because, you know, this is the same generation, and I posted this yesterday. You guys, I was called a baby killer. I've been called a baby killer for not wanting to keep my kids on the poison schedule by people who are pro-abortion. That is just when you know that, like, we are just on the complete wrong side of history. And then you get today Ethan Lindenberger meeting with Twitter, just met with Twitter. We're going to go over, you know, like, ways to combat vaccine misinformation. You're one big walking vaccine misinformation piece, okay? And I could say much, much worse, but I'm going to reserve the rest of my comments. But, you know, remember that these people are rooting, okay? They're rooting for a vaccine that has a side effect of the very disease that they are claiming to be so afraid of. And they have been in the system since the age of 5. They have been in the system. They are being taught all the same things. They're being molded not to be leaders, okay? Because you don't get a leader out of the indoctrination system. You get a repeater. You get a follower. You do not, I repeat, don't want to be a repeater. But this nation is not, when you're in those school systems, you are not at all training up soon-to-be leaders whatsoever. If at best you're training them to manage the McDonald's, to manage the Best Buys, that's all you're training them up for, okay? And they're so angry. These people are so angry. They are, and I'd be angry too, because you know these are the kids that they're broke. They're straight out of college, and they, along with their parents, you guys, blame colleges for the reason why they're in all of this debt. Nobody made you go to college, and for the parents that blame the college system, nobody forced you like you forced your kid to make them go to college. I get that with the brainwashing and all you've seen growing up that you need college was like so ingrained in you that you put your kid through that to get them into this insane debt. But they're now blaming colleges. And colleges aren't not at fault. Like, they make these false promises. You know, the waitress coming in from a hard shift, and she's like, oh my gosh, I just like hate my job. I hate my job. I just don't know what I'm going to do in life. And then the mom is just like, here's a brochure that came in the mail from Kaplan University. Maybe you should get into nursing. And she's just like, yeah, Mom. And then next thing, like, this is their fault too, okay? So they're also not, but these are the same parents, the ones who are blaming college, not blaming themselves. These are the same parents who blamed the banks during the housing crash and crisis. They blamed the banks. The banks are evil and they're not also free of fault, but the bank didn't make you sign a loan for a home that you knew you could not afford, right? The bank never made you sign your name on that X. They weren't holding a gun to your head telling you. They assisted in knowing you couldn't afford it and you would peak in crazy freaking interest because you don't read. This is generation don't read. You're not reading inserts. You're definitely not reading a bank loan. They're blaming the freaking banks. Okay, fine. Banks suck. We get it. But you're not going to take any accountability for that. You're not going to take any responsibility or accountability for the fact that you were making $2,000 a month and your cousin came in on it with you so you both could sign a loan. He's also only making $2,000 a month, and you guys got a mortgage for $3,500. You didn't think something was going to blow up eventually? Like, you didn't think that bubble was going to... No? Not at all? It's freaking moronic. It's just moronic, this generation. No accountability. no accountability, which is the same people with all this BuzzFeed stuff. They want to blast out that they're so, you know, liberal and very like freeing, and but they're like rooting for socialism. Okay, they're just all wrong, all wrong. And going into that, you guys, also, who cares? Okay, in the grand scheme of things, with all of this social media, internet, it's a username. It's just a username. It's not you. It doesn't define you. You are you. You know who you are, who your father is. You know, the username thing, whatever. I don't care. I don't care that they're doing, like, what are they going to screenshot? My facts? People are like, oh my gosh, but like you're in this BuzzFeed thing and there's like so many people on there trolling and they're probably screenshotting everything you said. Good. Let them screenshot everything I said because it's just information. And then they can share it with each other. And maybe the one person in that group that's always questioned it will look at that and actually go and like do some research and get informed. That's it. That's it. Okay, so I want to now talk about, because I'm spending most of the month in study up here. I'm on just this like, why are men not waking up? We've tapped in on a few things, but I'm going to dedicate more of tomorrow to the breakdown on that, literally going back in time, like from caveman days. But today I want to point out a man in this movement that is a very powerful force in this movement. And I just want to show what it takes. Because I want to ask the men who are watching this, like men who are watching that have just been very quiet, their wives do all the talking or their girlfriends do all the talking, and they're just kind of like sitting back, knowing at this point that women and children are being systematically poisoned all around us, and that is like their tribe, their herd, their spawn is being poisoned, and this is the friends and the future wife of your spawn is like, it's deep, right? Why are they so quiet? Why are they so weak? And here's what I want to ask you. Does it need to take your child being vaccine injured in order for you to wake up? Is it going to take something terrible happening to a family member of yours or a loved one for you to finally wake up and start talking? I want everyone here, if you can, to follow a man named Joshua Coleman. And I'm saying, I can't even say his name without smiling, because this guy is, he is so brilliant in the way that he trolls and is a part of this movement. So he's mostly active on Facebook. He's got a YouTube, but look up Joshua Coleman, okay? This guy is, he's a filmmaker, but he has a vaccine-injured son. So before he got into this movement, his son Otto was on the CDC schedule, and actually I'm going to let you see just a short clip of him here. This is him opposing SB 276 before I show you the way that he just trolls beautifully. And not that I want husbands and guys to go and do this, but you'll see what I mean. Here, let's just check out this little clip here.
Schedule.
Okay.
After a round of vaccines, at 17 months old, Otto quickly began to lose muscle control of his legs and ended up with flaccid paralysis from the waist down.
This is his son,
The
Otto.
diagnosis was transverse myelitis. Immediately following his MRI, where he was diagnosed with transverse myelitis, the doctor asked me, has he been sick? I said no. Has he been recently vaccinated? I said yes. That's when I first found out that a vaccine could cause something like that. Otto's pediatrician never mentioned this potential risk of vaccinating. In fact, his pediatrician told me that he himself had to look up what transverse myelitis even was. Had he read the inserts to the vaccines that he had administered, he would have seen transverse myelitis listed as a potential adverse reaction. I live here in the Sacramento area. I found the top specialists that work with transverse myelitis, and they're located on the East Coast at Johns Hopkins Hospital. I spent months there with Otto, where he was tested extensively, and it was determined that his transverse myelitis was indeed caused by vaccination. The doctors all told me how rare it is for someone to have a bad reaction to vaccines.
Okay, so when you have the time, that's about like a 12-minute video. You could check out the whole thing. But yeah, he was told the same thing many other parents are told, that what happened to his kid was super rare, that it was like the 1%, and we all know that that's a big whopping lie. He now, because his son is already clearly vaccine injured, if SB 276 passes and it's on its way to passing, he is now going to be expected to do the same thing to his other son, okay? So it's pretty much polio. It was, the reaction his son had was in the insert. The pediatrician didn't even know. You heard him say that. The pediatrician admitted they didn't even know. They'd never even heard of that. If they had read an insert, which they don't, they would have heard of that, okay? So this is... Now I'm not going to end it on just like this sadness and this note, because what happened to Otto is absolutely terrible, that had to happen to his son in order for him to finally wake up. But because he was lied to by the pediatricians, by the doctors, because they told him it was just so rare, even when his second son was born, he still, with his wife, took that son to the first visit. This is just, I'm talking like, this is the power of the brainwashing. That you just think there's absolutely no way, because they keep telling you over and over repeatedly, there's no way, vaccines save lives, they save lives, they save lives. After that 2-month visit with his second son and the way that his son acted for that, him and his wife couldn't bring themselves anymore to doing this ever again. That opened the door into like their immense research. And now I applaud this man's efforts, because no guy, and you know what, if you're a guy, this guy, he's a hero, okay? If you're a guy, he's definitely got to be up there on like who you consider a hero. He has at this point already, because when your kid is injured like this, you almost like you lose there's no shame anymore. People are like, how are you so vocal, outspoken like this, Natalia? Okay, I have people close to me that are vaccine injured who don't speak and won't speak out because it's too painful for them still. This is why I can't shut up, because I still have this, and I won't shut up until somebody makes me shut up. But he is like the king of trolling Senator Pan. This is the guy that filmed Pan run. He was on the Vaxxed crew, so he joined them. He helped document over 700 families and their vaccine injuries. And what's he got to lose at this point? What does he have to lose? Like, his boy is already... Okay, so a sample of his trolling, right? He will go to these events. Like, he went to the women's event, the women's pro-abortion rallies, because what is their entire thing? Women's choice, my body, my choice, blah, blah, blah. He goes into these things kind of incognito until he knows he's in a place where there's a lot of cameras and stuff, and then he does stuff like this. He got up onto the stage at the women's rally and held up this sign. Tell me, okay, so here's this woman talking, and there's Joshua Coleman. Okay, vaccine mandates violate women's choice. And it's like, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Men, if you are watching this, take note, okay? This is the guy that will go up to Senator Pan during the rainstorms and all the other rallies, okay? And he will hold up signs right behind Senator Pan of Pan ran, recall Pan, Pan is a liar. Look at the stuff that he wears, like not just with his shirts, but the billboards. Like, you want to talk about somebody with like a big set of kahunas, okay? This guy, he is brilliant in what he does. And it's so funny because he comes up with these videos. Senator Pan hates him, which makes me love him all the more. Senator Pan and Senator Pan's like, minions hate Joshua Coleman because he will go up. Like, there's another clip that he had posted where he is holding up this sign. Hold on, I gotta find it. He has this other clip where there's police officers because Pan called the cops because he was he was upset that this guy was following him with a big banner, a sign, and so like, look at this, okay? This was at one of the other rallies. So here's Senator Pan, the police, and there's Joshua Coleman, okay, with the liar, Senator Richard Pan. And look at what he posts here. That time when the police had to explain to a complaining Senator Pan and Leah Russin what freedom of speech is. Okay? No shame. No shame. Imagine, just imagine if every man did the same thing. Okay? How powerful. And this guy, he's alone doing this. Maybe he's got somebody filming him. Okay? But here was his latest. Here was his latest. And you guys, I kid you not. Okay? His latest picture that's up is him. He goes to the March for Science. He went to the March for Science rally. Jeff and I were just like in tears the other day. Like this guy, he goes to the March for Science rally. And guess who's at the March for Science rally? Senator Pan. This March for Science rally is all about vaccinations, and you have all these people with their booths on why you need to vaccinate. Joshua Coleman dresses up as a stormtrooper, okay? I don't know if you guys saw this, but he dresses up as a stormtrooper. So he finds Senator Pan at this rally, and he asks to get a picture with him, and he's holding up this big sign that says, March for Science, okay? All right, and takes a picture with Senator Pan. It gets better. It gets better. He doesn't stop there. Now, Pan probably thinks, oh, whoever that stormtrooper is like on, you know, he's a cool guy, he's on our side. Now Senator Pan is going to get up and make a speech. And this guy, you want to talk about big, look at this. Just, you got to watch this. Hold on, let me post this up. Here's his video. So this is why you have to go follow him on Facebook. He trolled this guy hard. This was recent, okay? Senator Pan trolled at Science March.
We're Vaccinate California. We are a pro-vaccine advocacy group throughout the state, and we are here in support of Senator Pan's proposed bill, SB 276, which goes after...
so these guys are all supporting 276. Okay, he interviews a bunch of people.
Until they're a year old. People that are immunocompromised, like those that have had...
And this is him. Okay, so gaining their trust, just like they do with us. Just like they do with us, gaining our trust.
Senator Pan over there. I'm going to ask if he'll let me take a picture. You just shoot a little video of me and Pan.
All right. There you go. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Now, once he gains his trust, okay, now Senator Pan is going to go up and look at he has no audience, okay? You are like the most hated man in all of freaking California. So you have no audience. People are just walking by, all right? Coleman, who can do this? What man can do this? Seriously. Now he gets up.
Science is something that actually
Pan is talking.
back to the very roots of our country. So we think about it, when George Washington was trying to fight for freedom from the British, he actually required that every soldier in the army was actually inoculated against smallpox.
Look at the minions are coming.
More dangerous than British. And then of course, Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson said it's really important to be sure that we protect people. Then, that's, they said, well, we need to be sure people get vaccinated, right? And so when we talk about science, used to be, we thought that if we only shared the facts with people, right? In fact, shared the science with people, then our policymakers would make the right decisions, right? So the job of scientists was to figure out what was the truth, what the science showed, and then from there, it was the policymakers who needed to take things forward. But, you know, unfortunately, we know that is not the case nowadays, correct? We now know that it's important that all of us here, many of us who are scientists, need to speak up. It's not just enough to do the science. We need to stand up for science. So are you here to stand up for science? We're here to stand up for science, right? Because we cannot allow...
Okay, so, sorry, here we go. Move this. Why does it keep doing that? Here we go. Okay, so you guys tell me, right? The video is brilliant. To find him, you got Joshua Coleman, Facebook. Go look him up. I got a question, though, for you guys, okay? Because Jeff is watching this, and a few other guys that we were, like, sending this to, they were just like, oh, my gosh. And you know what the response was? Dude, if I was there, I would have gone up with him. Can you imagine if that was a fleet of stormtroopers? Men, though. Men. If you're just going to be a mom that's up there, because a lot of women do speak, it's mostly women in this movement, coming out and holding up all the signs, and you're a woman, you're a mom, you're going to get called all the names. There's going to be people that are going to be trash-talking you, saying, oh, you and your essential oils, and you and your, you know, you hear it all the time. You're just made fun of. This is a father. And you already can understand how powerful moms of vaccine-injured kids are. This is a father of a vaccine-injured kid. Security all around him. Like, not his security, the other security. And he is exercising his freedom of speech while he still has it. If that doesn't pump up a guy to do this, this is a man who, if you look at his story and what happened to his son, you would think he's already lost everything. Like, your son is now in a wheelchair because of vaccines. What is it going to take, men, to burn and get that fire going inside of you, to grow some balls and start standing up for the women and the children that are being poisoned? Yes, Joshua Coleman, Joshua Coleman. He's not really as active on Instagram, but he did post just yesterday with the picture of him and Pan, so you can follow him there too. Get your men to follow him if they need an example. That is what we need. That is what we need, okay? We need men who are not afraid of the BS, who are not afraid of Senator Pan, because all Senator Pan and his minions have right now with insults is it's just a bunch of moms. It's just a bunch of moms that are speaking out to bored housewives. I dare them to say the same thing, okay, when it comes to a bunch of men. Can you imagine if the world just had 20 more Joshua Colemans, just 20 right now? We got Del Bigtrees, we got some of the, but if at every rally that was like this, where they were pushing propaganda that is completely false and instilling fear in all of these people, especially like the weaker people that actually go to these things, can you imagine what kind of impact they would make? And if you're a guy that you're too busy, you're working, the very least you can do then is support people like this. You need to support people like this. This man has now dedicated his life. Do you want it to get to that for you? Do you want it to get to that for you, where he's now dedicated his life and his time to fighting Big Pharma and exposing all of the lies and the hypocrisy? His son is paralyzed for life because of the DTaP. Do you hear me? His son is paralyzed for life. And it was vaccine-induced. He is 10 years old right now. His son is probably going to be forever with him. Okay? And he is now the biggest superhero in his son's life. What a superhero. And how perfect that he was wearing what he wore, because that was about the dark side. When you're going into the dark side, that's what you wear. That's his fight right now. That's his full time. He fights for his son. He goes to all the rallies for you. He's going to every California rally. He's located in Sacramento, but he's so talented because he has a background in film. So when he the stuff he makes, these videos, right, with the 80s themed, you know, beginning intros, but it's both heartwarming and then really sad, because you think, is this what it's going to take? Is this what it's going to take? This is a man who will go right up to Senator Pan during a rally as Senator Pan's walking away, and he will go right next to him and start asking him questions that Pan runs away from, runs away. This was one of his most popular photos initially, okay? This is a way back when, but look at this guy, okay? Look at this guy. Who here has the freaking balls to do this? And that, when I first saw that image, like, I was just like, that's it. This guy is going to wake up a lot of men. And I'm not discrediting the other men in the movement that have been a part of the movement for a long time. But if your husband needs a role model, there you go. He's out there fighting, goes to every rally. So I would hate for that to be the reason and what it takes, you know. But when you watch that and when you see him and you think, how many more men would want to get involved and stand alongside him? How many men would want to get involved and stand alongside him? Because he probably could use the help. But what's inspirational is that even if it's just him and he knows it's just going to be him in the middle of that crowd, he does it anyways. Did you hear the security come up to him and say, "Are you Joshua Coleman?" when he was in the stormtrooper outfit? Because I swear to you, Senator Pan has the beauty and silver lining in all of this is that we every night, especially the parents that are living in California, and I read your messages, you're having nightmares about Senator Pan, and you're having nightmares about SB 276 and what's going to happen and all the rights they're taking away from you. Senator Pan has nightmares about Joshua Coleman. I guarantee you. And this is just a father. He's never once touched him. He has literally just asked questions that continue to get the same either BS answer or response. He is gaslighted as a father. His son was damaged by the vaccines, by the very vaccines that Pan is trying to force mandate onto your children too. So you gotta understand that. I think that that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think that that other men will watch this stuff too, and they'll have a million other ideas that'll just start popping up and ways to creatively do this. Because with social media and all of this stuff, going back to the Buzzfeed we were chatting about earlier, you know that the censoring is going to be really thick and deep in this. So when will you then grow the balls to do these kind of things in public and start advocating in public? And we've seen, Jeff and I showed you last week, there's a lot of ways to silently advocate. It can be done. But we have seen what will happen, especially with something like Facebook. You have to now, the women, we might have already been, our job is probably already almost over in the terms of like warning people, especially all over the internet. Men have to now start coming out, and it has to be in the public settings, because there are these trolls, these Buzzfeed types that are dead set on trying to hurt you as a parent. Like they're trying to hurt these women. I've been threatened that somebody was like, if I ever see you putting those things, those little cards and warnings, I'll punch you in the face. I've been threatened. Okay. But then you have men jump on the post and they're like, what are you going to do? Same to me? Are you going to punch me, buddy? Like, we need men. We need men. Okay? Month of May, we got to wake them up, get them involved. And I feel like that's the missing piece right now. It's a big missing piece to this puzzle, is that our men, our warriors, are still asleep. Okay, so they're still asleep. Anyway, on with the rest of the day and my other show for later, but we'll chat soon, you guys. Take care. Joshua Coleman. Take care.